Hey everybody, welcome to the week 1 overview. You see here that we are in the week 1 overview in readings page in the first module. So as it says here, during weeks 1 and 2, you have a lot of reading to do. I didn't want to make you do any extensive writing assignments the first couple of weeks. And the reason for that is I want you to be familiar with the material and start thinking about those articles that I've assigned as readings. You'll see here there's an embedded video, and these YouTube videos are embedded. I house them on YouTube, and I have a YouTube channel, but I'd like to embed them so you don't have to go outside and maybe get distracted by other videos that are being advertised on YouTube. Also, the reason I keep them on YouTube is that YouTube does the closed captioning. So if you do need the closed captioning, you can always click on it and click on the closed caption. And the captioning will be available to you. Usually it's fairly good. Sometimes it's a little garbled, depending on how clearly I'm speaking in the video and that kind of thing. So definitely make use of the closed captions when those become available. So let's get started with this overview. I want you to watch this little intro video that I've done. It's a little bit more high tech than I usually make my videos, but this gives you a good overview of the question that we are going to be thinking about all term long, and that is, does technology make us happy? So what I've done is assigned you 4 readings, and those 4 readings are from chapter 5 of this book, Pursuing Happiness, by Matthew Parfit and Don Skorzewski. But I've chosen only 4 of the articles from that one chapter to have you start thinking about how or why or does technology make us happy. The first one is from Konnikova, and it's called How Facebook Makes Us Unhappy. And that's actually, you can download a PDF of that article. The second one is by Adam Piore, What Technology Can't Change About Happiness. That will take you to an external link. I'll click on that and show you what it looks like. It takes you to the Nautilus page itself where this article was actually originally published, and you can read through it on the website instead of downloading it, although I do have a downloadable version if you would prefer to have that. Then the article by McWilliams, Saving the Self in the Age of the Selfie. Again, that's another PDF download. And lastly, we have an article by Sherry Turkle called Stop Googling, Let's Talk. Actually, let me open these up and let you have a look at this. How Facebook Makes Us Unhappy. This is actually from the New Yorker. And you'll see it's large print. Most of the articles are only about 4 or 5 pages. This one is 4 pages. Oops. I don't know why that did that. The Peoria article probably would be about 4 to 5 pages. McWilliams, let's see how many pages this one is. This is from the American Scholar. So that first page is just introductory stuff with a photo. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have, let's see. This is a longer one. It says 18 pages, but actually the first page and the last page really don't count for anything because the last page just has some biographical information. So 16 pages, but again, you will see it's very large text. So, and these are all accessible and they're pretty easy to read. So we have that. I don't know why that keeps popping up to my edit page. And then the last one is Sherry Turkle, Stop Googling, Let's Talk. And I think this one is fairly short too. And this is from the New York Times. So you see that they're all from reputable Publishers, and this one's taking a while to download. This is a smaller print, and it's only 3 pages, and half a page is taken up by an image. So that's Sherry Turkle. I also have some background reading. So you'll actually have 2 weeks to do all of these readings. Don't feel like you have to read and have it done by the end of the week. So we have those 4 articles, and then we have some background reading from our online text called Writing Spaces. The first one is, what is academic writing? This will take you to the Writing Spaces website. And you can download them if you want to, or you can read them online. It's purely up to you. Again, the first and the last pages usually aren't much of anything, but this gives you a background on what academic writing is, and that's really the goal of our writing course this term. This is an introduction to you to begin academic writing, how to write scholarly things. Then the next one is by Amakuchi, 4 things social media can teach you about college writing and 1 thing it can't. Again, I will open up that to you. Again, you always will have the option to download it and save it to your computer. Sometimes these articles will have 3 or 4 pages at the end that have teacher resources, which you can just skip. You don't have to read through those. You can read through them if you want to, but typically you can skip over those. And this one has a lot of images that the author has included because she's writing about social media and that kind of thing. So that's one you can also take a look at. And then the last one we have is Backpacks versus Briefcases, Steps Toward Rhetorical Analysis. So the first paper that you will be working on, which is one that will be due in a few weeks, is a rhetorical analysis. So this article introduces you to the idea of rhetorical analysis, how it's done, what types of things you're going to include in a rhetorical analysis. So of those 3 from Writing Spaces, I highly recommend this one you focus on the most. Again, there's no need for you to feel like you have to have it done at the end. But these are a little bit longer, but again, these articles are written by composition professors geared towards students who are in first-year composition. So it's not like heavy-duty academic reading, and you're not going to be bogged down with a lot of terms that you don't understand. They really make an effort to make the information accessible for students so that it's easy to understand and it's easy to read, and you don't feel like, oh my gosh, textbook reading is just so dry and boring. I've had a lot of success with these articles for students. Students seem to respond very positively, so I hope that you find them as interesting as my previous students have. So for week 1, you do have some things that you need to work towards, okay? Again, watch this video, watch this overview that you're watching right now. Get started on the reading assignments. Again, you don't have to have them all done by the end of the week. I give you a couple of weeks, and if you want to get a head start on them, that's fine too. If you're watching this video before the official start of the term, you're more than welcome to get a head start on that reading. So read the selections, then watch What is Rhetoric? And I'll show you that in a minute. Then there's a discussion board, which is just an introduction. You're going to introduce yourself to your peers, your classmates. Your initial post is due on Friday, the 24th. I know that doesn't give you a whole lot of time since technically our official start date is the 23rd. So that's the one thing I want you to get out of the way as quickly as possible. Just post an introduction and I'll get to the discussion board in a moment. Again, that's due Friday the 24th, and then I want you to respond to your classmates after a couple of days. There is a journal assignment. It's called How I Write, and that's due on the 25th. Those are the only two things that are must-dos. And then once you get started reading and you've taken a look, at least a cursory look at some of these articles, these first 4 articles, I want you to choose one that you think you want to work with for the rest of the term. So I give you a choice of 4 articles that you're going to base the rest of your writing assignments on. So I want you to start thinking about which one you think might be the most interesting one to write about, and to write 3 papers and to research about. So just start thinking about it. Again, you don't have to submit anything formal, just to get you start thinking like, oh, you know, this one, how Facebook makes us unhappy. This one I think is interesting. It relates to some of the stuff that I've been thinking about, social media and that kind of thing. Okay, so overview page, you navigate by clicking next, and that takes you to a page which is called What is Rhetoric? So this is the lecture section of the week, and I really recommend that you watch these lectures so that you have a basic understanding of what rhetoric is and what is expected in rhetorical analysis. This rhetoric lecture is under 10 minutes. It's a lecture that I recorded for a previous class. There is a PowerPoint file that goes along with it. So if you want to download that PowerPoint, you can. If for some reason you are having trouble accessing any files that are presented for download, please let me know and I'll go through and make sure that it's actually in the course. It should be, since it indicates on my page, but I never know what students see. So there's my rhetoric lecture from previous semester. And then I have a playlist here from Crash Course. Crash Course worked in conjunction with Arizona State University. They have a study hall series for English composition. So I curated this playlist that is related to rhetoric. It's about 45 minutes long. You don't have to sit and watch it all in one sitting. You can always come back and watch videos that you missed at a later viewing. And there's also a list of all the videos from Crash Course and ASU Study Hall on the course resources page. So this one, as I said, it's roughly about 45 minutes long. What you'll do is you'll click, and once you get to the end of the first video, it'll go into the next one, or you can click play for the next one. So hopefully that's self-explanatory. Then we go to the discussion board. So if you haven't used a discussion board or you're new to Canvas, it can be kind of confusing on how to do this. So here we're working with introductions, right? We want to build a community of writers. So the instructions here are click on reply. So if you click on reply, that opens the text window for you where you can type in your answers, introduce yourself, that kind of thing. So take a moment to introduce yourself. Some of the basics you would include, of course, your name, and if you have any pronouns that you want to be used with you, that's fine. You can include those. And if you have a name that is different than your official roster name, please let me know. And I will make sure that we use that name throughout the next 7 weeks. Also, we'd like to know what your major is. If you don't have a major, that's fine. What you think you might be interested in doing, or even what you might want to do as a career, okay? Any hobbies or activities that you enjoy. And since this is an asynchronous class, not everybody is enrolled at the same campus. So for example, this course is being offered through UC Claremont, and I am affiliated with UC Claremont, but I've taught students from all 3 campuses. I've taught students from Claremont, from Blue Ash as well as the main campus. So it's good to know which campus you are enrolled with. If you are a UC Maine student, you're going to have a slightly different experience than students who are going to one of the branch campuses, one of the regional campuses like Claremont or Blue Ash. So it's good to know, you know, if somebody's a 4-year student as opposed to a 2-year student, or somebody who's just starting out with the intention of transferring into main campus after they get a year under their belt. Then I am asking you to dig a little deeper with your introduction and to share answers to at least 3 of the following questions. So what plan or intended career path are you considering after completing this program or transferring or graduation? Are there any obligations or obstacles that you may face that I or your classmates should know or should be mindful of? What makes you confident or doubtful of your ability to do well in this course? Are there any skills you're hoping to walk away with? What are some of your writing challenges? And conversely, what are some of your writing strengths? What do you hope to learn in this course? So choose at least 3 of those questions. And then lastly, even though it's not required, it's customary to respond to 2 of your peers. And you can do that again by clicking reply at the bottom of their posts. And there's a link here on how to respond effectively to a peer. So that is the discussion board. Also, if you prefer to do an audio or a video instead of typing it out, that's fine too. And to do that, again, you would click on here and you would just attach whatever kind of file you wanted to attach. So if you had a video file, for example, you would choose a video, you would upload your video and do it that way, okay? If you have any questions about this assignment, please don't hesitate to email me. That's why I'm here. I don't expect you to know everything right off the bat, but please don't feel intimidated by it. As I said, those of us who are just starting out with Canvas can have it can be kind of unfamiliar. So it's always good to ask for help if you need it, okay? And then lastly, we have the journal assignment, journal number 1, how I write. So it's a good idea to be looking at things at the beginning of the week, since sometimes I have assignments that ask you to do things throughout the week. So here is something that I thought would be interesting for you to do for this first week. We know that writing is just more than academic assignments that we do for class. We have social media, we have texting, Snapchats, making blogs, vlogs, websites, filling out forms, making lists. We have all these different platforms and places, and we write a lot on a daily basis. So this journal prompt is asking you to consider your writing processes and practices, the thoughts and feelings that you have about writing, and how, where, and why you write, with what, and for whom. It used to be, once upon a time, we all just had pens and paper, and that's how we wrote, right? But of course, now we have computers, we have our mobile devices, we have all sorts of modes of delivery and modes of composing that we're not just tied to paper and pen anymore. So that makes writing almost, you know, a thing that we can do wherever we have our things, right? So the instructions here are, during your first few days of class, keep a daily log of all the writing that you do. If you're in a class, an in-person class, your writing that you do in classrooms, any writing you might do at work, any kind of writing that you do at home. It can be both formal and informal writing. Things that you're doing when you're out and about. Keep a log and divide your log into sections labeled what I'm writing, why I'm writing, who I'm writing to or for, when and where I'm writing and with what I'm writing. And then at the end of the week or at the end of a few days, tally up your responses and then just write a short reflection about what you've discovered about your everyday writing process practices. So here I have a sample journal entry that I came up with months ago, last month, of what it would look like. So this is a log, and this is stuff I actually did. I kept track for a couple of days, what I'm writing. So journal number one example, I was writing this assignment down, why I'm writing to help students, who I'm writing for or to, the students in English 1001, when and where I'm in my home office, and it was an afternoon, and I'm using my computer using Word, Microsoft Word. Then I wrote a grocery list to remind myself what I need for the week, writing primarily for myself. Sometimes we only write for ourselves, right? Early evening at the kitchen table, and I used pen and paper because I'm a dinosaur. Text messages to ask a question, share news, and connect. I wrote to my oldest son. It was late evening and I was in bed and I was using my phone. So you get the idea of the different writing things that I did over the course of a couple of days. And then I just had a reflection here, just thinking about why I was writing. Most of my writing tasks centered around preparing for this class. It usually involves a combination of computer and pen and paper drafting, primarily for the purpose of reminding myself what points to cover and students what work needs to be completed, yada, yada, yada. So you get the idea there. It would probably be easier, and oh, that's a PDF though, isn't it? You get the idea. You can draft something similar to that. You can either upload it as a document or you can do it in the text submission box. Let's see if I go to student view. Yes, you'll be able to see it. So if you click on this red button that says Start Assignment, it will open up an area down below where you can upload a file. No video option for this, or you can do a text entry. If you have Google or Office, this says this tool is not available while masquerading. I'm masquerading as a student. So yeah, files, easiest for me to read are Word doc, docx, and PDF files. Things like Apple Pages get really funky, and they don't work well with Canvas for whatever reason. And oh, there was another file format, but I don't think it's as much as a problem in Canvas as it was when I was using Blackboard for a different institution. So that's how you, and then don't forget to click on Submit Assignment. So the red button on top is Start Assignment, and then once you are done submitting, you make sure you submit assignment, and then something in your Canvas should confirm that the assignment was actually submitted. So you don't have to email me and check to see if something was submitted. It should tell you right in Canvas. So the due date for that is Saturday, June 25th. I realize that's not a whole lot of a time. Hopefully, most of you will be getting a head start. I have opened the course early. You know, I don't know if the university actually permits me to do that, but I'm doing it anyway, because the 7-week course is actually 6.5 weeks, and it's really not a lot of time. So aim for about 500 words. If it's less than that, I'm not going to take off points or anything like that, because you know, I'm doing a different grading thing this go around. So, but aim for about 500 words if you can. Okay, so that's week 1. you can always look ahead to the next week's. Week 3 is when your rhetorical analysis paper is due. I'm going to open that up and just give you a little preview of it. It's a 3 to 4 page rhetorical analysis essay, which is about 1,000 words. So you're going to be choosing one of those articles that I have assigned during week 1, right? And hopefully by the end of week 2, you will have had all 4 of those completed, your reading completed, and you'll have a better idea of which one you want to do a rhetorical analysis about. So in the coming weeks, I'll actually have some lectures on what a rhetorical analysis is and what I expect from this paper. I'll actually have a video attached to this assignment so that you know exactly what I'm expecting in this first paper from you. But that will be completed by July 10th. And then you'll see here, there is a rubric that shows you which things I'm looking for when I go to evaluate your writing. But that's the rhetorical analysis paper. Just wanted to give you a little heads up so that you're thinking ahead and working ahead. And I'll tell you, the 7-week pace is really quite intense. But as long as you stay up to date and you don't allow yourself to fall behind, it'll be okay. All right. So that is week 1. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. Again, my email is Malott, VJ, M-A-L-L, no, M-A-L-O-T-T, VJ at ucmail.uc.edu. I can't believe I said M-A-L-L. 1 L, 2 T's. You think I'd know that by now. All right, take care, everybody, and have a fantastic first week. Bye-bye.